And we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we're going to talk about the Lions. The Detroit Lions winning the NFC North for the first time since 1993. It's been a long time. Congratulations to them, first of all. It's been a long time, as you could tell. This division's been won by every other team since I've been alive. The Packers, obviously, with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. You had some years where the Vikings would win it. Of course, the Bears have won it as well. When they had Khalil Mack the first year, and Mitchell Trubisky. At least, going back, with my, time watching football. And then, of course, also them, back when, the Packers won the Super Bowl as a wild card team. You had the Bears that year as well when they played each other in the NFC Championship game. So, the Lions, they had some good years, with Stafford, but, they haven't won a playoff game. Again, the division. But now they got one thing checked off. They won the division. And a lot of people did pick them to win the division this year. It's probably going to be between them and the Vikings, but, it ended up being the Lions just because, the Vikings got off to that rough start, and then Kirk Cousins gets hurt, and now, they're kind of in disarray with the quarterback situation. The Josh Dobbs insanity run ended. Now you got Nick Mullins in there, and Nick Mullins did throw for a ton of yards on Sunday, but the turnovers were the problem in the game. So we'll go through the game first. So the Lions, they picked up a win against the Vikings, which is big. And, of course it's big because they won the division because of that. 30-24, the final score ended up being. They scored a touchdown to open the game. 14 plays, 75 yards down the field. And that was a David Montgomery 1-yard touchdown. Then the Vikings answered with a touchdown of their own. Ty Chandler from 2 yards out, so that made it 7-7. Then the Lions fumbled, and then Nick Mullins threw a pick. Lions punted. So then we go to the second quarter. Lions went up 10-7. Nick Mullins threw another interception. Then the Lions, they turned that into a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs from 14 yards out. He continues his great rookie season. And then the Vikings, right before the end of the first half, they scored a touchdown. Great catch by Justin Jefferson, a 26-yard touchdown. So that made it 17-14. Then the Vikings, they opened up the second half, scoring a touchdown, making it 21-17. That was set up by a 47-yard reception by KJ Osborne, which led to a KJ Osborne 6-yard touchdown. So that made it 21-17. Then the Lions, they answered with a touchdown to make it 23-21. Jared Goff connecting with AmonRaSt.Brown. Lions then got another touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs from 3 yards out. So then we go to the fourth quarter. Nick Mullins, another pick. Lions punted. Vikings kicked a field goal. Lions punted again. And then there was another interception in the game. Nick Mullins ended up finishing. So these are Nick Mullins' stats. 22-36, 411 yards. That's good, right? 2 touchdowns, but 4 interceptions. Vikings only ran the ball for 17 yards. Justin Jefferson had a game, 6 receptions for 141 yards and a touchdown. KJ Osborne had 5 for 95 and a touchdown. TJ Hawkinson, 4 for 58. Now, he's out for the rest of the season. ACL injury. Just terrible news there. One of the best tight ends in the NFL. And that's a huge weapon for the Vikings. And, he's going to be out the rest of the year. And this is late in the year, too, which is unfortunate. So they're really going to miss him. Vikings just can't catch a break with these injuries. He's going to be out. So now we go to the Lions stats. Jared Goff, 30 of 40, 257 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. The Lions ran the ball for 143 yards in total. Jahmyr Gibbs had 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 80 yards rushing. David Montgomery had 55 and a touchdown. AmonRaSt.Brown had 12 for 106 and a touchdown when you go to the receiving side of things. Jameson Williams had 5 for 43. Sam Laporta only had 3 for 18. Khalif Raymond had 2 for 29. Jahmyr Gibbs had 4 for 20. But yeah, Lions ended up picking up the win there. The one thing with them, now, first of all, before we get into my concerns, I mean, again, long time since they won the NFC North. And again, congratulations to them. This game wasn't easy by any means, but they get the win here. And listen, they got a chance to have a top 2 seed in the NFC. I don't know if they're going to get that. They need Philadelphia to lose one of their last 2 games, which I don't think is happening. I mean, if the 49ers lose again, maybe they could jump them, but I don't think that's happening either. They're going to have a top 3 seed. So they're going to host a playoff game. Now, what's crazy is they could be hosting the Rams, which I really hope ends up happening, because then you're going to have Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff facing off against their former teams. You're going to have Stafford returning to Detroit for the first time since the trade. And I think that would be a great playoff game. So I hope we get that. My concerns with the Lions, and they kind of fall into that category of kind of being fraudulent, because they have these games, like, they go to play the Bears in Chicago and Jared Goff struggles. The defense is the issue here. Now they're going to be playing Dallas on Saturday in Jerry World, and it's going to be a really tough game. Because now Dallas, you can move the ball on Dallas's defense, but if the offensive line doesn't protect Jared Goff, it's going to be a long day for the Lions. The defense really is the problem for me. The offense definitely could be inconsistent at times, but they got a great 1-2 punch at running back. The receivers, AmonRaSt.Brown is, a very underrated receiver that doesn't really get talked about that much. They got a great rookie tight end. You'd like to see them get somebody else step up besides AmonRaSt.Brown. They were hoping Jameson Williams would be that guy. They traded for Donovan Peoples-Jones, but I feel like he's been a non-factor. You don't even hear about him. You also got Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond. These guys can make some plays, but there's no, definitive number 2 option other than Sam Laporta. I'm talking about just receivers to AmonRaSt.Brown. And Jared Goff has the tendency at times to turn the ball over, But I think the major concern for me is the defense. Because, again, like, you let Nick Mullins throw for over 400 yards against you, but, you lucked out because it's Nick Mullins and he threw 4 picks. So that's my concerns with the Lions. That's why, if they got to go to Philly, if they got to go to San Francisco, if they get out of the first round, I think that's as far as they're going to go. Philly, they're going to be able to move the ball against, I feel like, because, Philly's secondary, we saw it on Monday against the Giants. Not good. Not good. And again, listen, I still think the best team, in the NFC is, of course, the 49ers. I know, losing to the Ravens was tough, but they're still by far the best team, in the NFC. So I think whoever goes up against them in the NFC is not going to come out on top. It's going to be them, but who knows? Who knows? But for the Lions, if they're able to make the playoffs, well, they made it, but they're able to win a playoff game, and that's as much as they do this year. Still a successful season. This team is one of the best teams, in the NFL. When they're clicking, especially on offense. They got a lot to build on, even if they don't get as far as they want to, because again, besides winning the division, there's other things that they, can do. But I think this team is like a top 5 team. It's like around there. Again, if they can fix their defense, this team is going to be really good for a long time. They got a lot of young players on this team, so they're only going to continue to get better. It's just I think their flaws are going to be what hurts them. Sorry, I'm about to hold back a sneeze. Again, that always happens at least like once or twice during the stream. So, but yeah, I think the flaws are going to be what ultimately hurts them. So, but I mean, I'm happy for them. That's going to be one of the teams I'll be rooting for in the playoffs. I give Dan Campbell a lot of credit. Really turned this team around. The culture, it didn't look good at one point last year, but the Lions were able to finish off the season strong, finish at 9-8, and now they got one of the best records in the NFL. Obviously, they aren't looked at as the best team, but they're up there. They're up there. I mean, you got the 49ers and the Ravens in their own tiers, and then you got the rest of the other teams. So, and we'll see what they do against Dallas on Saturday. This could be a very high-scoring game. It could be a blowout. I'm leaning towards it could be a blowout, possibly. But again, do the opposite of what I do. But we'll see, because you got Dallas and the Lions, and they're kind of in that same tier. I mean, I for me personally, I still think Dallas is better. I mean, how I'd rank the teams, it's it's the 49ers, then it's Dallas, then you got the Eagles, and then you got the Lions. So, based off of how the Eagles have been playing. But, the Lions could move the ball against the Cowboys, but they don't have time. If Goff doesn't have time to throw, and Micah Parsons is back there constantly, and that defensive front, it's going to be a long day. And we'll obviously preview that on Friday. There actually will be no Monday night game, so it's just Saturday, and then the following week. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I think they'll move games because they have games on Saturday. They'll move. Just have all the games on Sunday. I don't know why we got to put games on Saturday because these have playoff implications. But that's what the NFL decides to do. So. But before we go into our second break of the show, once again, I just want to remind you guys, as always, to tip or donate and get your comments recognized, make sure to go to the following link. That is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show, makes the show more interactive between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. Again, that is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. And as always, it is displayed on the ticker on the bottom of the show segment down below. So, and I clicked on the wrong thing. When we get back from our second break of the show, we're going to talk about the Browns winning again, improving to 10-5 on the season with their win over the Texans. So, with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.